What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I'm, of course, Jimmy, and we are proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield and VMB Autos on this episode of 90 After 90. Thank you to them for their support. Where do we start? Where do we start? And I know I normally sort of go into a bit of a monologue that's never planned and rant and rave about different things. And on the odd rare occasion, might praise a few things that we've done. But this is 90 After 90. This is where you guys get to have your say. And I've got a very special first caller. It's hard enough me trying to get him on regularly, but when he actually agrees to phone in, Andy the Blade. How's it going, Dad?
Hi, Jimmy. You all right? I played about 15 minutes ago, so...
I know you did. I know you did. I can't hear you that well, but...
Right.
Talk to me about today, Dad. What's your first thought?
Well, the first thought was I thought I ought to ring in today because everybody knows how much stick I've given to McBurnie, so thanks to you. And even though I'm not changing my mind about McBurnie, I've got all my hand up and I thought he did really well, along with Berrett and Diaz in the second half. They looked quite a decent partnership. Actually, we have mentioned in the past that we thought that McBurnie might play better if he played a bit deeper. And it looked as though in the second half they'd switched positions a little bit, whereas Diaz was leading the line further higher up, and McBurnie was dropping a little bit deeper. I don't know whether that was actually the case or just how it was happening, but I have to, as I say, I've got to hold my hands up and say, McBurnie, I thought you did really well today. Things changed once he was taken off. I mean, I know he's had some injuries and what have you. I disagree completely with the subs that Wilder did. So I've changed completely on a couple of things today because normally I'm a big supporter of Wilder, and I thought he did wrong with his subs today. And I'm normally, as you know, giving McBurnie some stick, but I thought take my hat off to him. I thought he did well today, and so that's what I thought. Very disappointing. I thought the change came obviously with the fourth goal that was disallowed, and then the subs came on, and having Norwood and Osborne and Hamer as the middle three is just beyond me.
Yeah, you broke. I don't know whether I broke up, you broke up, or we both broke up a little bit there, but I know what you're saying because I heard it in the car on way back. Having Osborne and Norwood end up in the middle. I know Hamer were there as well, who we rate, but in the middle three, and Osborne played really well at left wing back. It's not a criticism of Ozzy per se.
Yeah.
Having Ozzy alongside Norwood in the middle, just sort of we lose that I don't know, that athleticism, that aura, that sort of presence in the middle. Look, I'm no Vinny Sousa fan, and I thought it was shocking today. I won't get into that too much, but it's really disappointing all around. The other thing I'll say on Berrett and Diaz, Again, I have to refer back to certain things that I've done previously because when you're on the internet, you're accountable and you should be accountable for your actions. I posted a tweet 6 weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks ago now. Got called out on 4 Blades for it. I hear all little things that go off about these little things that I say, and that's fine. You're accountable. But Brembert and Diaz, I said, we're a better team without Brembert and Diaz. Now, when you look at a game like today, you think that's a ridiculous statement. Just to clarify my comment, I think we've adapted, or Brembert and Diaz has been able to adapt. We're no longer changing the formation to suit Brembert and Diaz. He's fit into a formation that suits the team better. So the fact that he can now come in as a striker rather than a left forward has really improved us. And I think I'll go one further and I'll say on that performance, when those two are playing as well together as they are, even my Cameron Archer would struggle to get in to side on that performance today with them two. I think it were a tactical ploy from Wilder. I think it was something that he intended to do. He spotted it and seen the switch, moved McBurnie deeper because in first half, McBurnie were furthest one up and Brett and Diaz were deep. He switched it second half. So fair play to him in that regard. But I'm completely with you on the subs. I just... Trusty. What has happened to Trusty, Dad? What has happened to him?
I don't know. He seems to have gone backwards. He keeps getting. I mean, to be fair to him, he has come up against some quality wingers in the last few weeks. Who wants to play against the Arsenal lad and the Crystal Palace lad and bloody hell, he's getting absolutely roasted every week, and whenever he's playing. And Osborne, Traore come on, and Osborne seemed to be handling him fairly well, but once Trusty came on, he just tore him to pieces every time he went down that line. You thought something was going to happen, but I mean, I was disappointed. I know I was disappointed when McBurnie came off. But when McBurnie came off, why did? Yes, clip that. Yes, absolutely. Send it to Ollie because But why didn't we replace him with a Sula or somebody like that, so we could have kept on a little bit of pressure? Because as soon as McBurnie went off and Diaz was dropping further and further back, just pressure was on us all the time. We had no outlets to go up. It was just you were just hoping that they'd only pull one back, but eventually they pull two back.
You could feel it though, couldn't you? You could feel it. Have you had a chance to see the disallowed goal back yet, Dad?
No, not the disallowed, because I've just watched. Funnily enough, I've just watched the Sky highlights, and they didn't show the disallowed.
I know. I've heard that they hadn't shown it. Ridiculous. We heard Wilder on way back, didn't we, on Radio Sheffield?
Yeah.
The club's then released a presser with him before I've come on tonight, and he's answered different questions. Baldock's out for 6 weeks, and there's only 7 weeks left at season. Tom Davies is out for a month again.
What the hell?
I know.
What's going on here?
It's ridiculous. That, I mean, obviously Baldock's got injured on international duty, and we're crying out for George Baldock to sign a new deal. Even the biggest Baldock fans, which I know we both are, and there will be plenty in the chat as well, you've got to start to question his fitness when he cannot stay fit. It's getting to McBurnie levels and Tom Davies levels even. Yeah. I just think
it's not getting to Brewster levels.
No, it's not. Or Norrington Davis. But no. When do you say he's past his best for Sheffield United? His body can't quite do it. Maybe it is time for Baldock, even though we love him. He can't stay fit.
If that's the case, I mean that's the case. But I really don't fancy Bogle being our first choice next year at right wing back. But
I thought he did okay today, though. I thought he did okay today. It's all right to do that in spurts, but I thought he did all right.
Story for another day. It's a story for another day.
Maybe so. I've seen a few slating Grbic online. What were your thoughts on him today?
Nothing much really. You could probably argue that he should have got down better for that second goal, but it were a good strike. The third strike were a really good one. The first header, he didn't have much chance with that because it looked as though, he were all left on his own, that big centre half. I think it was Sousa who were probably supposed to mark him, but he was just left all on his own. He did quite a decent save. It looked as though when he hit the post from a Nell in the first half, I think he got a hand to that, which were not bad. But I don't think we've seen enough of him. He's not completely convinced me that he's that much better than Wes at this stage. But there we go.
Do you think fitness levels are an issue for us, Dad, still?
Oh, definitely. You got people going down with cramp. You hardly ever see opposition players going down with cramp. We had two down at one time. Anel and who was the other one? Anel and somebody else were down.
Holgate. Anel and Holgate.
Down with cramp. You think, what's going on? You only used to get cramp when you were like into extra time and really sort of like pushing it. But you think professional footballers shouldn't be going down like that. No,
we were in extra time, weren't we? Really?
It just shows. I mean, I think part of it is our game plan. Now we keep getting pushed back and sort of like letting attackers come onto us. But how many goals have we let in the last sort of 10, 15 minutes of games? It's ridiculous.
I know.
I mean, I don't know if there's anybody's worked it out, but we must have lost loads of points in those. But you could see it.
Dad.
I mean, I know, as I said, part of it was to do with who we'd taken off and the subs that we brought on, and we had no outlet, so they were coming on to us all the time. But bloody hell, you just knew it was going to happen.
Dad, I've got it here. John Asquith put a comment in here. Man City, 88 minutes, lost a point. Forest, 89 minutes, lost another point. Spurs, 98th and 100th minute, lost 3 points. Villa, we lost 2 points. Bournemouth, we lost 2 points.
9.
Fulham, we lost 2 points. 11 points.
11
We'd be 15th,
points.
he says. We'd be 15th in league if we'd have held on to the results.
And that 14 minutes
has a huge part to play in it, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I know we were talking in the car coming back, and you were saying, because we're saying, bloody 14 minutes, where did that come from? And you said, well, they did score in 93rd. But I think what happens is, you know, if you're Fulham and they get 14 minutes comes up and you think, bloody hell, we've got a right chance here. So, you know, if you've only got 5 minutes to score an equaliser, there's a lot more pressure on you than if you've got 14 minutes. 14 minutes, that's a third of the second half.
I know.
So,
I know. And a third at first half.
And a third of any half, really.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm the same as you, Dad. I think fitness has got a lot to answer for this season. But, I mean, we both questioned the subs, which we've already talked about. Do you think it's just the level? The quality isn't there on our bench to bring on players. They're bringing on Tom Kearney and players like that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Traore and the lad who scored the second goal. They got from Bristol.
Decadova-Reid. Yeah.
Decadova-Reid. It used just to be Reid, didn't it, at one time?
Yeah, I know. He's fancy now, isn't
it? And it's Decadova. Well, it's like Ben Berriton Diaz.
Yeah,
it is, Ben Berriton at one time, didn't
it? It was.
But
Ben Concarney. Ben Concarney, as Eki Outsal calls him. Chile's finest.
How good that, Jim. But what were we talking about then? We're talking about what were we talking about before you got me onto something. Got me onto something else.
I was on about whether you were about Decadova-Reid, because I was asking if we haven't got the. We know we haven't got the strength.
The quality.
Does that excuse Wilder's subs today, though?
No, we have definitely not got the quality, and we've talked about this in the past, where we've brought on poor players, and they've brought on like players who would get into our first team. And we're talking about any club here, most Premiership clubs that we play, but we also were saying the subs that we brought on. Do we really, when we're doing all right, do we really have to substitute McBurnie? Can he not play those extra few minutes? Oli Arblaster, can he not play though? You know, another 10 minutes or so. You know, and
I'm just amazed you crying out for McBurnie playing more minutes.
I know.
One performance.
I know. Well, it was. I had to say, I was really impressed with how he played. And he played with some passion and and putting it in the second half. It's the first time I've seen it from him for a long time. In the first half, he didn't. First time he was jogging around like my old mate McBurnie. Then his brother came on, Billy McBurnie. Billy McBurnie came on in the second half, and he will look great.
What were he wearing on his feet?
Different colour shirt. It wanted jazzy, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
They weren't more understated.
Serious haircut. Yeah,
not as jazzy boots.
The information behind that is he's supporting his brother who's got.
I know. I read about that, which is a great. Which is a great.
Just to let people know, which is. Great. I know he's a questionable character at times. He's a big character. That's probably a better way to put it. And some can go either way on him. And there's some aspects of his personality that you can still not like, but there is, a nice kid in there as well.
Well, the things you hear from like McAtee and people like that, the younger kids in the dressing room, they all have a great, they have great words to say about McBurnie. So, I'm sure he does help them along, and with his brother, it's a great thing that he's doing to help him. So
it's same. Absolutely, it's same. I believe it's the same disease that David Brooks had, Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh dear.
Yeah, let's hope that
although Brooks seems to have recovered a little bit. Yeah, it does, absolutely.
Yeah. Before I let you go, Dad, I'm gonna ask you something, and I've completely lost my train of thought, but no, I can't remember now. So can't have been that interesting.
I'm seeing you tomorrow. You can ask me tomorrow.
That's what I was going to ask you. It's just come back to me now. Yeah, and I am seeing you tomorrow. But Do you think these performances from McBurnie and Osborne, and I don't mean to lead you down a hole, I'm just cards on the table. Obviously, Prince Abdullah said he sometimes feels that players play better when they're playing for a contract. Now, that's been panned
I've said
a
that
lot.
before.
Yeah, it's been panned a lot, and people have used it to beat Prince Abdullah with a stick. And I understand that it's been taken out of context, basically, and people have said, oh, we'll let the contracts run down because they'll be better players. That's not what he said. But if you look at the performances today, and I'm not saying it's definitely the case, but in your opinion, do you think it helps their performances that McBurnie and Osborne, just as two examples, are playing for contracts, or do you not think that has anything to do with it?
No, I think they'd have been doing it before now if they'd have been doing it for playing for the contracts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not getting me down that rabbit hole.
No.
Not getting me down that rabbit hole.
Right. Last question: has it changed your mind on offering McBurnie a contract today?
No. I don't think McBurnie's as good as we've got, but he's not a goal scorer. He scored 2 today, or should have scored 2 today. I don't see him as a goal scorer. I don't see him as a player who can hold play up. I don't see him as a player who closes. I am changed. I'm not going to change my mind about McBurnie after watching him for 4 years or however long it is on a half this afternoon. I mean, because he's had decent times, decent little spells before. But I just think they're too few and far between. And I don't think he puts it in on a regular basis. I think he's too often injured. But what I don't want to do, I'm not saying he's not worth anything, because he's definitely worth something to somebody. And it would be a massive shame if we spent 20 odd million, never really got any value, any proper value out of him, I don't think, for that sort of money, and letting him go for nothing.
I agree.
So
yeah,
I think
that's fair enough.
So however they work it, I mean, the money side of it is not really my expertise, but I mean, I would hope he would get a contract so that then we could get some money for him, and then I'd be quite happy for him to go to Rangers or wherever. But there is, from what we saw today, we have got nobody better than those two at the moment, even with Archer. How Archer fits in, I don't know, because obviously Archer's supposed to be going back anyway, but...
No.
But Diaz certainly in the second half, Diaz and McBurnie linked well together. You cannot say any other. You cannot say any other.
Yeah, there were some encouraging signs today, weren't there? Despite the disappointment of throwing away a 2-goal lead, there were some really encouraging signs certainly in the second half for.
What I was quite surprised about was the fact that we looked to be playing really well, and I thought it was a very even game. And obviously, we took advantage and went in front, but we were miles behind in all the stats.
I know,
percentage-wise, and shots and corners.
I think a lot of that will have been from last 20 minutes, won't it, where we were just completely. You keep going like that. I think that's.
I know. I don't know what's happening with that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I don't know. Modern technology. Right, Father, thank you very much for calling in, Dad. And I will. I'll see you tomorrow anyway, won't I? So thank you, and I will see you soon.
Yeah. See you later. See you, all the blades. And nice seeing all blades today. Triple point.
Yeah, it was great, weren't it? In triple point, yeah. And a few new faces, which were nice as well. So, right. Okay, pass. See you soon. Cheers, Dad. Andy the Blade, a rare appearance on the phone in. Thank you, Dad, for joining us. Really appreciate that. I have to kick him out of the studio because he doesn't know how to do it. So there we go. I've just done that for you. So thank you to everybody that's waiting. I can see there's a fair few waiting to get on. So I will come to you as soon as possible. I'm just going to get some comments because I don't want to get too far behind, which I've known to do in time gone by. Gabe, good evening, pal. Not even mad because I knew as soon as our fourth was disallowed, this was going to happen. It felt like it. I have a lad that sits next to me. He says they're going to come back into this, and he were bang right, weren't he? Infuriating indeed, says Justin. Solid and impressed to get 4-1 up. Yeah, Wilder's subs deflators again, and the defence goes into panic mode and should have lost in the end. 14 minutes added is no excuse. Up the Ramble. Absolutely right. 4 points lost in the last 2 games. If only, says Stu. I know. It's shocking, isn't it? Shocking. That's on Wilder, that one, says Millie. Oh, my comments have jumped up to the top. Corrupt Premier League again, says Smudge. 4-1, game over. Wilder subs cost us. Norwood at fault after being on the... Talk to me about Ollie Norwood. But I thought today, Vinny Souza was shocking. Really, really bad. Really bad. And, I was telling him as much because I were that way out today. I were getting really frustrated watching him. This lad who's supposed to be good enough to play for Brazil, but he's the one that lost us possession by passing it out of play a couple of times and direct to a Fulham man. Could not get my head around it. And I'm saying he needs to take him off. Sousa has to come off. But then you think, who's going to come on for him? It's Norwood. What do you want then? It's, the options in our squad is really poor. And, that's a combination of things, isn't it, that we've talked about before. But anyway, Ollie Mack and Diaz, great partnership. 2 points lost, up the blades, up the Ramble. Ian, good evening, pal. After the initial disappointment, I only want to focus on the positives. Burton Diaz and Ollie Mack, promising partnership. Blaster is the real deal. Yes, he is. And Nell looked better without the armband. Another great point. Yeah, he looked decent, didn't Nell? In the middle of the three. Much more comfortable for him. No pressure of being captain. It's mad, isn't it? Because for me, captains don't really. I mean, it can work well for some players, can't it? And obviously, it has a negative effect on others. But I'd like somebody like George to be our captain, as I've said before. But Anel didn't seem to cope well with it at all, did he, with the armband? What really annoyed me, says Mike, is where we're 3-1 up and Wilder starts messing about with rubbish subs. I get that. I don't think we've the strength in depth, but that's no excuse for today. I think we went defensive. You can say Norwood for Sousa is the straight swap, but to bring our Blaster off and bring Trusty on and move Osborne into midfield, why not? If Ozzy, you can't tell me our Blaster were more gassed out than Ben Osborne. Ozzy had played really well at left wing back. I'd have kept him there, to be honest, rather than brought Trusty on. But if you think that, our Blaster's gassed, you don't put Ozzy into midfield alongside Norwood. There's just no presence there, is there? They're going to get overrun so easily. Why not bring somebody like Andre Brooks on then at the same time, if that's what you want to do, just to freshen it up a little bit? He's more of a left-sided midfielder. He looks after the ball well, completely fresh to go into those last few minutes of defending the lead with. I was so disappointed at game management. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. But bloody hell, just keep the ball out of the net for the last 5 minutes, says John. That's in relation to his stats that would be 15th. Norwood shouldn't be allowed to put that shirt on again. He's gone. So infuriating. Completely agree. Plenty of positives, says Daz, for a change. I agree. And hopefully, like we try and do, we try and get each other to that point, don't we, where we pull it round. And by end of the show today, the Ramble, we should be okay. We'll all be, it's a decent point in the end. Really want to give Wilder a chance, but Norwood and Trusty coming on killed us, says Justin. The mentality is my main concern. Do brilliant to get 3-1 up, but then revert to panicking and throwing it away. Absolutely. Evening, Jimmy. Lee here. Met you and your dad today at Triple Point. Yes, you did, pal. Nice to meet you. We said we felt optimistic, and we nearly did it. Thought our Blaster and Robbo were great. The ref lost it for the last 30. I thought it were okay, the ref, for the majority of the game. I thought it were a little bit soft, not giving cards where he maybe should have done earlier on, and then he started giving them out like confetti. And I think you're right. Last 20 minutes, I'd say, really lost control for me and gave them almost everything, I thought. Hey, Jimmy, love the streams. How do you think Vinny coming off made a difference? Do I think Vinny coming... Well, I was screaming for Vinny to come off, but not for Norwood. I'd have tried keeping Blaster on personally, and I'd have brought Brooks on for Sousa, kept Osborne at left wing back, and I'd have brought Brooks on to give that balance of Brooks on the left-hand side, Hamer on the right, and our Blaster just sitting a little bit more comfortably in the middle. Look, if he's gone completely, I understand it, but it didn't work, did it? Why, says Andy, what did we do to anger the football gods? We're being punished here. Absolutely we are. Millie, McAtee waiting to come on since half-time. Instead, he picks Norwood, and within seconds, he's brushed aside for 3-2. Minutes later, 3-3. Yeah. Norwood, it's. I was thinking about how to describe it today. It's a little bit like an old boxer, isn't it? Where he's been a great fighter, and he just goes on too long, and he ends up getting beaten, spoiling his record. And you think, you're trying to tell your kids, honestly, he were class. He were great in his day. And they're like, really? Look at him. And that's where I think we are with Norwood. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. Andy, I'm not sure this is on Wilder. Issues on the pitch that forced the substitutions, from what I understand. He does say that a lot, though, doesn't he? It's exposing the situation with the squad to me rather than decision-making, humbly, in my opinion. Absolutely right, mate, and that's what we're here for. I'm going to get to our first caller now. Our second caller, should I say, because obviously we have my dad on. Danny boy, how's it going, pal?
How's it going, Jimmy lad? I'm sound, mate.
Good. What do you want to talk about tonight, pal?
Well, usual thing, innit? You know, disappointment, throwing it away, right at end again. You know, most of the season it's been exactly the same. You know, we're winning, we're drawing. You know that last 5 minutes or last 10 minutes of a game, we're up against it. You know that there's a goal going to come, and again, being punished again.
It's mentality, innit? It gets in their head that, oh no, we're going to concede again. 11 points, like John was saying. We've lost 11 points from these sort of positions in the last few minutes of games, 88 onwards or whatever it was. It's not acceptable. And yeah, you can point to the fitness, but I also think it's a mentality issue. And it's really poor, really poor. How do we change it? How do we stop? Or are we just not going to stop the rot and we have to have a bit of a sweep at the end of the season and go again with different players and a bit of a different squad, really?
I think you pointed out a few things there. You know, there has got to be changes. You know, for myself, Vinny Souza, I don't think he should put that shirt back on again. Not performing, not good enough. You know, our blaster, give him rest this season in that centre midfielder role. It seems like he's got more energy. It seems like he's more composed. Obviously, if we are short in that department, you know, stick Brooks on, you know, just give him a go. You know, there's still stuff to play for, but you can see that fight in our blaster. You can see that fighting for that shirt and for that badge. Souza does not give a damn. He's just there picking up wages and thinking that the Blades is a stepping stone for something better. A bit like Sanderberg, really. But look where he is now.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Completely agree. I thought Ollie Arblaster today, he were brave on the ball. He looks after the ball. I saw he gave it away at one point and he'll have been absolutely gutted because they nearly scored from that as well. And, you know, there's no more gut punching. But he got taken out at one point. I think somebody said it might have been by Robbo. But he got taken out and he was lying down and you're thinking, oh, well, let's hope he's all right. He gets seen tough for ages and then they're going to bring him off. It looks like McAtee's on touchline and he's Arblaster's walking around pitch and it looks like his game's done. And I don't know whether this is the case or whether it's just my interpretation, but it looked like he shook it off and wanted to come back on. And that for me were really sort of rewarding. Do you know what I mean? I thought, there's not many that would say, no, I want to stay on. There might be. I might be doing him a disservice, but you could tell he wants to play for us. He wants to do well for us. And I think he will. I think he's going to be a big player for us in years to come. I'm always conscious with Blaster. I don't want to build him up too much because then it's a long way down in it. But
I completely agree in that sense, Jimmy. You know, but the only other thing is like the players that we brought in. Look what you said earlier with your dad. You know, Davis, we brought him in. He's injury prone. He's hardly ever played for us. You know, what is he picking up a week? 30, 40, might be 50,000 a week. You know, he couldn't even hardly get a game at Everton because he were either injured or he just weren't good enough. Why the hell have we brought him in? You know, other players brought in. You know, every player apart from Aimer has been injured what we've brought in at some point through the season. They're just not reliable enough. It's like McBurnie, you know, get credit where credit's due. He put in a performance today, but one performance is just not good enough. He needs to be performing week in, week out, scoring them goals, or at least providing that effort up front, which is not all season.
Does it give you a different opinion on whether to offer him a deal? His performance
Definitely.
Today?
I think he's still go. I just don't think he's good enough for us. He's not a natural goal scorer. He might work off the ball, you know. He puts that effort in. You know, he might be good around the changing rooms with the laugh and the joke and, you know, a bit of picking lads up after an heavy defeat. But, you know, the game is on the pitch. He needs to provide a performance on the pitch, and it's just not good enough. It's like Souza. He might get one good performance, one in every 3 or 4 matches. You need to be consistent. You need to be reliable. If you're not reliable, you're not consistent, you don't deserve that badge on your chest.
Spot on. Well said, Danny. Nice one, pal. I'll let you get off, but thank you again for your call tonight, pal. Speak to you soon.
Thank you, Jimmy. All the best, mate. Take care.
Cheers, pal. Ta-da. Thank you to Danny for his call tonight. Interesting that, because I thought there might be a few more that sided with, well, McBurnie's shown what he can do now, and maybe he's earned himself a contract. I understand that thought process, but Danny, like my dad there, bigger picture, he's not been consistent enough. So yes, he might be able to produce those sort of performances, and that's in the Premier League. Remember, where we know the levels are a lot tougher, a lot tougher than in Championship, which is where we're likely going to be. But I thought there'd be a few more calls for McBurnie to get a contract after that. Right, I'm going to pull in our next caller now. If he turns round, he's here. It's Rob. Hey up, pal.
How do, mate? You all right?
I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Just trying to sort out kids, like pick something
sorry
up.
about that. What did you think to the game today, mate?
I thought it was immense today. I thought we played really, really well. I really do. His subs killed us today, though. To be honest.
Okay, I agree. I don't disagree. I'm a huge Wilder fan, as you know. But if
look, mate, I think there's one person bigger than you who's a Wilder fan, and that's me. I love Wilder.
Okay,
I absolutely love Wilder. He's been the best manager I've seen at United in all my life, and I've seen Bassett, I've seen Warnock. I love Wilder. He's brilliant. He is. He's brilliant. But his subs killed us today. Noel was coming on, murdered us.
Thing is, I don't know when they came on. Somebody will be able to tell us. I do think when you're making subs, I think it must have been in something like 85th minute. It might have been a little bit earlier, but
we got his fourth goal disallowed. He come on.
Yeah. So at 3-1 up, how can, if we were 4-1 up, for example, we see that game out quite easily, I think. But the fact that we've gone to 3-2 so quickly, and professional players like Ollie Norwood, who've been playing the game a long time, can't see out a game, it's criminal. So I blame Wilder for bringing him on and getting him in the mix, but it's unforgivable that he makes the subs when we're 3-1 up, and in such a short space of time, we're not even good enough to hold a 2-goal lead. Really?
Yeah,
poor,
but
really.
if Norwood were a racehorse, we'd have put him down by now.
That's true. Bit different to my boxing analogy, but I get what you're saying.
We would have done. I mean, he's been great for us. He's been brilliant with his ping. But he's just reached that level now where he's just not good enough no more. Like, stick with Blaster, and if we're going to take off any midfielder, let's bring on Brooks.
Yeah,
let's bring on a young player.
Yeah, absolutely right. At least he's fresh legs. You know he's going to do the running for you. He looks after the ball quite well. I didn't get it. I didn't get it today. So
no, I didn't.
Yeah. Okay, mate. So thank you, Rob, for your call. Well, lovely to meet you today.
Just one thing.
Okay.
I was sat on top, and when they equalised, the young 16-year-old lad kicked the barrier at side of me in frustration that they'd equalised. And one of our stewards grabbed him by the neck and threatened to kick him out at ground because he was frustrated that they'd equalised. It's absolutely shocking. Yeah, grabbed him round the neck. I had to intervene.
No, that's
it's wrong that the stewards are seeing that. It's a passionate moment that they've equalised. He's frustrated that we've thrown away to a 3-1 lead. But the lad, it was 16, and he's grabbed him by the neck and threatening to throw him out at ground because he's kicked a metal barrier. He's not done anything to anybody else. I just think the bit of between the fans and the ground and the stewards needs to improve, because we're all passionate. We're all blades at the end of the day, mate.
They have to. They have
to
be a bit more aware.
Yeah, they do. But he just jumped in and he jumped on him, and he was like 16 years old, this kid. It was wrong.
Yeah.
Frustrated. Everybody around me were frustrated that we'd thrown away a 3-1 lead. Yeah, it's shocking that we did. But let's have a little bit of compassion.
Absolutely right. No, you can't put hands onto a kid, can you, for kicking a barrier or something?
No, we can't.
Well, hopefully that'll be in better spirits when we go 3-0 up at Anfield on, is it Wednesday or Thursday, whenever we play them? So we'll turn Liverpool over and we'll all
What
get
do you
paid
mean
again.
3? Do you mean 5 or 6?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. We're staying up, aren't we? So no danger.
We are.
No,
We are. We're going to batter Liverpool and we're going to batter Chelsea next week.
of course we are. Of course we are.
Of course we are.
Nice one. Spot on. Cheers,
Right.
Rob. Thanks for calling in, pal.
Thank you, mate. Ta-ra.
Much appreciated. See you later. Ta-ra, bud. Oh, hang on. There we go. Right. Thank you to Rob as well for his call. Let's jump back into some comments. Hi, Jimmy. Just done a quick calculation, says Tom. We lost 11 points from last 10. Yeah, John had done a similar one, pal. We would be 14th, 15th, 4 points clear relegation, defend the box. Ifs and buts into it, and that adds to the frustration. That just compounds it, doesn't it? How close we've been to getting more points this season. We'll just have to beat Chelsea instead, says Andy. Absolutely. Hey up, Jimmy, says Dom. Bad subs cost us again. Wilder's game management is shocking. Even though this league is corrupt, McBurnie was our best player today. Very disappointed to see him subbed because he was scoring. Yeah, we're disappointed to see him come off. If, like my dad was saying earlier, not tonight, but during game, if he's bringing McBurnie off, why not bring a Sula on? I know he's trying to shore it up a little bit, but McAtee for McBurnie, it's a completely different sub. McAtee is a luxury player, and I've said it before, and that doesn't. I don't mean to sort of question his ability, because I think he's one of probably the most talented player in the squad. But there's certain situations and certain games where you just need to see a game out. And I understand that he offers stuff that can do that. He can carry the ball and he can make things happen. But when you're trying to get stuck in, I think he's more one that you play against a Liverpool where you're going to catch him on break a little bit and just sit tight at back. But for me, when you need somebody to be holding the ball up higher up, like McBurnie had been doing, you bring on somebody like a Will Asula if you need to make a change. That's just my opinion, to be fair. Neil says, bad substitution, McBurnie, best defensive header, and he comes off. Don't care if you're tired. You don't have to run to defend a corner. Illy says, okay, Jimmy pal. Soon as Norwood and Trusty came on, we looked shocking at back. McBurnie and Diaz today were unreal. I hope McBurnie signs a new deal. That's more like it. I thought we'd have more of them. I'm not saying I think that as well, by the way, but I thought we'd have a few more of them. Yet again, we threw it away, says Danny. How can we not hold on to a lead into injury time? How many times this season have we thrown away a lead in games? No steel going through them players' veins, a laughing stock. Dave Morwood, good evening, pal. Wow, first time in a while been able to catch a live. Yeah, only reason being slept on most of the afternoon. Fair dues, pal. Nice to have you here. Dino says, too many super managers slating Wilder on praise or Dumble. Well, I've been doing it here, to be fair. Love the man, but you can call him, can't you, when he's making what we perceive to be the wrong decision. He's got what he's got, and to be fair, the starting 11 is as good as we've got. Anybody coming on McAtee accepted is a downgrade at the minute. I even think McAtee were a downgrade today in terms of what we needed. He's got more ability, like I say. I don't want to get that misconstrued, but it wasn't what we needed to come on today. You're right, though. The depth is not there in our squad. A free header, a deflected shot, and enough space to swing Grbic in and allow a scissor kick says it all. I know. Steve, get Archer, he said. Yes, I did, and I stand by it. I will always. Oh, there's more. Bring back Wilder, he said. Yes, I did. Stand by both of them. Stand by them both. BBD post-match interview saying he loved every minute since coming in. Would love to see them make it happen next season somehow. Oh, I read that as one sentence, Ian, then. As in, like, Brereton Diaz would love to see them make it happen next season to make it permanent. Okay, so I'm happy with the first part of the sentence. He's saying he's loved every minute since he's come in. That's promising, isn't it? You have to say things like that, I think, to a degree. But, yeah, if we can get him in the Championship, that's a real coup. D, says Mr. V. D to you too, pal. Hope you're okay. 14 added minutes, says Luke, and you're telling me there isn't corruption. Prem can jog on. McBurnie and Diaz are players, though. Up the blades, up the Ramble. Diaz makes the team weaker, so he said. Yes, I did say that. Because that was when we were changing the team to accommodate Diaz. When we were having to play one up top, Diaz left forward and McAtee right. We had nobody in midfield. We had two in midfield. Or if we went to a three in midfield, that meant we were four at the back. We haven't got the good enough defenders to do that. Now that we are making Diaz play in our system and he's proven he can be just as effective as a striker, it works. So that comment was said in a certain context. BBD must be kept, says Jimmy Foster. Absolutely right. Agree. Wilder has to go, says Logan. A new manager, a new style of play, and a new owner would suit us well for the summer. Okay. Change everything. Having said that, I'm being flippant because it's not working at the moment, is it? New owner is something that we are working on. Obviously, Prince Abdullah is actively trying to sell the club. I know a few are sceptical about that, but that is the case. I don't think Wilder has to go. Personally, that's my opinion. Yours is different. I think Wilder's the right man to changes. He's had one window, and as part of that window, he brought in Ben Barrett and Diaz and changed the goalkeeper. Whether you rate Grbic or not, we wouldn't be in a much better position had Wes kept the shirt, I have to say. So I think Wilder's got to be given a chance. And there may be a new style of play that comes with that. Evening, Ollie. Hope you're okay, pal. Exciting game. The referee was atrocious. Where they get 14 minutes from, I have no idea. Thank you, everyone, for joining on the 49th minute clap today. It meant the world to me and my family up the Ramble. There were a lot that joined in, and I were really happy to see that, Ollie. So, yeah, all the best to you. Hope that you had as good a time as you could today during the game. More important things than football, aren't there? So, yeah, all the best to you and yours. David Vinter, positives and negatives again. I agree with that. Can't keep throwing away leads and expecting to have a chance of staying up. On to Liverpool Thursday and just hoping for another performance. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Hi, Ricky. You okay? What did Eki do to this lot? Says Jimmy Foster. We are the most unfit team in the league. Wilder looked fuming with the physical solutions. Or substitutions, I suppose you meant. Did you find what you lost in the boozer, Jimmy, before the game? I thought I'd lost my glasses because I have to take glasses to the game with me now. I'm going to be 40 in the next couple of weeks and I'm breaking apart, honestly. So I thought I'd lost my glasses in boozer, but to show how old I'm getting, I hadn't even taken them into the boozer. They were in the car. So, no, I didn't find them in the boozer. Thank you for asking, but don't worry. We're all good. So every cloud, I've got my glasses back. How many games we've got to give Grbic before I say he's crap? Hopefully it will be Victor's understudy next season. I don't think we can blame him for much today, if I'm honest. He was coming off his line a bit more. I thought he looked dodgy in a couple of moments, but he was fairly busy at stages. I didn't think he did badly today. With goals, I don't think we could have done much else. Maybe getting down quicker to second, but it was a great strike. I would still love him to be Victor's understudy next season, I have to say. Triple points, lost property has an expensive Rolex. If only. If only. More like a broken Apple Watch. That's what I'm rocking. Wilder presser, George out for 6 weeks. Davis out for another month, says John. Absolute shocker, that, innit? Absolute shocker. I'm going to get some more calls now. First up is Alls. How's it going, pal? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, man.
Oh, good. Thanks for calling. See you.
Yeah. It's same every week.
I know, mate. I know. I'm just going to put your name on because I've noticed I ain't got anybody's names on today. So, unbeaten in 5 weeks. Love that.
Brilliant,
Love
isn't
that.
it? Unbeaten in 5 weeks. What a
I
team
know,
we
mate.
are.
The Great Escape is on. I started singing it and nobody
It's
joined
not.
in John Street, but never mind.
Right. To be honest, I'm usually one of the most optimistic people who come on here, but honestly, I've run out of that energy because Bournemouth away, 2-0 up, and we lose in stoppage time. And really, we were lucky because that Slanky goal disallowed, penalty miss, and then here today, 3-1 up and draw 3-3. Oh my God. And you're going into 85th minute, just got a goal disallowed, you're winning 3-1.
No, we drew 3-3. How bad's that?
I didn't see the disallowed goal. Should it have been a goal? In your opinion?
I didn't see anything wrong with it. I've seen it a few times now. I didn't see anything wrong with it.
What were it given for? Were it offside?
Offside, Vinny Souza.
Not him.
Got involved in the play, apparently coming back from an offside position. I don't see that. I didn't see that on replay. But
Yeah, well, Vinny Souza, the one who says that reason why I can't get a Brazil call up, clearly.
I know.
I'm very surprised if he hasn't realised the reason why now. Ollie McBurnie and Van Diaz, very good, but
Very
still
good.
McBurnie not signing him because
All right,
injury.
okay.
I'm sick of these injuries, honestly, man. Like under Eke, I think after the Fulham game when Basham got injured, we had about 10, 11 injured. We had a full 11 out injured.
It's madness, isn't it? It's
I think
madness.
probably
There were 13, 14 injured at one stage.
Yeah.
It were absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, I know. I think nearly every single player in our team has been injured, apart from maybe Wes, Harmer, maybe Robber. You know,
Yeah.
the Sula,
Everybody
the odd
pulled on
the odd players. But then you go into 85th minute, you're winning 3-1 against Fulham. You're thinking, yeah, Great Escape's back on. You just got a goal disallowed, and then you decide you bring Ollie Norwood on. Like, what must be going through Wilder's that? I mean, I get it. He's getting close to his 60s now, but come on. Even Warnock won't be that stupid, and he's about 70, nearly going 90.
I know. Like,
Why don't he bring Brooks on?
I know.
I think he's had a falling out with Brooks. I feel it's like Southgate with Sterling. It all loved up with him, and then now you're choosing him out because he started his first couple of games. I don't think I've seen him play since West Ham.
He's not been involved, has he? Yeah, he's not been involved at all, which is surprising because he's done okay. No, he's done okay when he's come on. I've liked look of him, but do you think there's a chance we get Brereton Diaz back then next season, pal?
I think he'll want to come. I think it's same with McAtee as well. I think they'll both want to come. I think with McAtee, I think the only thing that'll stop us is money. I think Man City would let him go. Because, I mean, if they let Cole Palmer go, then they're going to let McAtee go, aren't they? Let's be realistic. But then I don't think we'd be able to afford McAtee with the rest of the signs that we'd have to make. And then Diaz, I think he'd want to come. Price, not really sure how much he'd be worth. Probably after this season, you'd think it would go up. And then I don't know what Villarreal would have to say about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Nice one, pal. Anything else you want to discuss before we move on?
We'll just talk quickly about the fact that if we would have won today and would have beat Bournemouth, 19 points. Forest got another point today, which put them on 22 points. So we would be 3 points off with a game in hand. And we've still got Burnley, Forest, Everton and Brentford to all play. But instead, Chris Wilder decides to put Ollie Norwood on, move Osborne to midfield, and take Arblaster and McBurnie. I don't get physical substitutions. It's his excuse every single week. Physical substitution this, physical substitution that. If they've just played 80 minutes of football, they can last another 5-10 minutes.
I know. That's what we were saying on way back, Dennis.
Especially a forward. All Ollie McBurnie's got to do is win an header in for corners and any at set pieces. But no, it's ridiculous. And he's moaning about physical substitutions. He only made 3 subs. If they're so tired and that, why didn't he use all 5 of them? I tell you, Chris, I love him. He's a right man. I think in my lifetime, he's been our best manager probably. And I were on this earth when Warnock were here. But I tell you this.
That makes me feel really old.
But I tell you this, it is last couple of games. I think Wilder's at fault for some of them. But
yeah, you're not alone in thinking that, pal. You're not alone.
Yeah, but just that thing. We would have been 3 points off for a game in hand. The amount of times we threw it away, I tell you, I know we're on 15 points. I think we've equalled Sunderland's, one of Sunderland's worst, maybe Leeds, and obviously we've beaten Derby's record. But well, in good way, we've surpassed it. But like, I think really, not using statistics, we have been the worstest Premier League club because we've lost by 5 goals or more in all comps, including FA Cup match against Brighton, about 7 or 8 times, which that is just ridiculous. We threw it away against Luton, scored 2. Luton didn't even have a shot on target, and they beat us 3-2. Didn't have a shot on target in the last like half an hour and beat us 3-2.
We're meant to be cheering each other up. We're meant to be sort of bringing the mood up a little bit after throwing away a 2-goal lead. And there you are with your sensible points
I know.
about
But
how
now we've
disappointed
got
we've been all
Liverpool at Anfield next. And watch Wilder. Well, I bet you on Monday or Tuesday when he has his pre-match interview, he'll go, "We're going to treat this like an FA Cup match. We're just going to go for it, like how we did it." Because on my first game, where there's this thing called a new manager bounce, we will play like a normal Premier League team and go at them. And really, we deserve to win that Liverpool game at home. But he thinks he could do that every single time against a big team and beat them. And then we did it against Arsenal. What would it score? 1, 2, 3. Oh, they have lost count already. And like, it's the thing. Wilder is meant to be a really smart manager. He's meant to be a good tactical. But I think he's done well with a quick fire goal situation. Because against Brighton, we conceded 1. And then 2 more went in. But on this occasion, they scored that really beautiful header. And then we didn't score until 86th minute. But yeah, Liverpool away next. That'll be a eventful, won't it? But the thing is, whenever I say we win, we lose. So I'll say that we'll win 3-0.
Nice.
Which will mean that we lose because we will lose. And then Chelsea.
Why don't you just say we're going to lose? If always opposite happens, we're going to lose, and then that's it. We win.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I said that we'd win today, and we're going to draw. So,
well, fair dues. I'm going to have to move on, pal.
It's fine. We'll beat Liverpool, beat Chelsea, beat Brentford. Unbeaten for the rest of the season. Stay up. 15th in the league with best team Premier League's ever seen. Luton are going for Europe. Burnley's fantastic. We're awful. See you later, Jimmy. Have a good night. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up the McBurnie.
Cheers,
up the coloured boots. Up handed.
Sorry, I'll cut you off a bit early there, but much appreciated, pal. Thank you for your call. I'm now going to go to our next caller, but there's only one of you left, and there were 2 of you there when I first came. Hey, Ronnie. How you doing? Easy. The man mountain and the boy mountain. How's it going, lads? Are we okay?
Oh, I'm out of breath now. Emergency toilet run.
Oh, sorry. I've just got your text where, can you get us on quick because we haven't got long? Sorry, mate.
We're supposed to be watching the rerun of the Gladiators. Don't tell me who won because get on that. No, so go on, man. What were you going to say?
We were playing well until the disallowed goal.
Agreed.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, I agree. I think first half we're a bit meh, a bit boring. Not really, much in it. Second half, I thought we played really well. And like you're saying, up until that disallowed goal. Then what happened?
I'll tell you what happened, Jimmy. They got a corner. They got a corner, didn't they? Well, they made some substitutions, which we'll get onto, obviously. And broken record will repeat what people have already said, but that the defending from the corner again. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter what you coach somebody if you haven't got the desire to win an header. And I've said it before, haven't I? Yeah. When he scores that header, he's absolutely on his own, and that completely.
Would it be Sousa's man? Would it Sousa's man?
He says it was.
Oh, it was.
I just don't. They'd played that near post corner. I think they'd done that 3 or 4 times, and I nearly bared fruit a couple of times before it even happened. And I thought, when it goes in, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. But
how can he have the header?
The free header, yeah. But we this is what we're like. You can blame desire, you can blame physicality, whatever you want, organisation. I think when they score when Reed scores that second goal, which I don't think Grbic could do anything about. I don't think we can blame Grbic for today at all. I don't know where that's coming from some people. I'm yet to be convinced. I'm not saying he's definitely the answer, But I don't know those 3 goals. I don't see where his mistakes are today.
I agree.
So
The dive.
yeah, and he did make a very good save actually in the first half when he tipped it onto the post,
Yeah, he did.
which I thought was good. I think though that you're right about the fitness side of things. I said I don't know. We've spoken about them being athletes and whether they can compete physically. But when the goal went in late, I had a little look because there's loads of people bringing up some really interesting comments about the goals that we conceded and the points that we've dropped. So I had a little look myself. So we are the worst in the league for the last 15 minutes of matches. That includes injury time. 5 goals scored, 22 conceded across the season. Now that 17 goals in the last quarter of an hour, minus 17 if you want, plus stoppages. It tells you about a mindset thing. It tells you about as soon as they got that second, they knew they were in, and we knew we were in trouble. And I agree, and I don't often put the boot in on Wilder, but if he can't see that Andre Brooks is a better option than Ollie Norwood, we've got a problem because we've been saying it for a while. I think Norwood, again, I put it in the chat. I think Norwood wanted to take him out when he's going past him for that second.
Yeah,
he just
didn't get anywhere near him.
No, I think he's got the legs of a League One, League Two player, unfortunately, and he's trying to play against proper athletes in the Premier League, and he just cannot do it. We're really sad about it because he's done such a job for us over the years, but he is not. We've said it before, we'll say it again, he's not up to it. The other thing was, on this little graphic that I pulled up, the first half an hour of a match, we've scored 4 goals this season and conceded 26 in the first 30 minutes of games. Now, for me, that's preparation before the match, because the other periods of the matches were comparable. We're not doing well because of how many goals we ship. But the first half an hour, 4 goals scored, 26 conceded. The last 15, 5 scored, 22 conceded. That tells me they're not prepared at the start of the game. In the first half of matches, I can't recall good first halves this season. Maybe 1 or 2 this season where we've played well in that first half. The first half today, we were doing what we always do and hanging around, just trying to get through to half time as keeping the score on. Parity for us at half time is a good first half, isn't it? So.
Well, he said that. I know you might not have heard that because I know you're away at a minute, you lot. But he said in his presser, we were trying to get to half time without conceding, and I think that is such a poor mentality for us. What's that about? When have we ever been like that? Let's just shut up shop for a little bit, keep it dull, and then go for it second half. What a really poor mentality to have at home. It's never been us, and I don't like it. Don't like it at all.
I don't agree. I think when we were quite successful with Wilder in the Premier League, I always remember the first half being hard work. I always remember us not real, just trying to hang around and keeping it tight, and we don't show any ambition. Again, I agree with the Asula comment. He gives us such an outlet on. With his pace, he makes them drop back. Like with the Arsenal game, we spoke about it before, didn't we? About how if you've got Willisoo there, they need 2 defenders back. They can't afford to have 1v1 because he could skin one of them. Yeah. And I don't know what Wilder's thinking putting on Norwood. I know what he thinks. He thinks it's experience. But experience is fine, but you've got to have the legs to compete. And he just has not got those legs anymore. Considering he was a substitute for us in the Championship. I just didn't. I think we're a little bit guilty sometimes of being overly loyal to some of the guys that obviously.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely we are.
And he's definitely one of those. Fleck was one. Some would argue Bash could have been one. There's a few in there that we could say. Some argue that Jackie Robinson, who I have to give a massive shout out today, again. Some would argue that he was one that we kept hold of maybe we could have moved him on or whatever. But I have to think that he was, that his commitment to trying to get in front of that ball when he takes Arblaster out. Him and Arblaster spot the guys that get really, really, really care. And he's throwing his body in. He kills Arblaster. He absolutely rips him in half. But Arblaster's there again, and he did it later on in the game, Arblaster, and he's definitely a Blaze player. Future.
Looking more comfortable every game, isn't he? More and more comfortable.
Which begs the question. I know we've gone back and forth on this before about Have we got the courage? Is it worth putting him in and damaging him? You look at what we've got, mate. Look at what we're bringing on. Brooks should have been on. Asula should have been on. Arblaster showed that he belongs today, which is a massive step forward and really good for him. You know, he'll get a lot of leeway from us Blades fans if he puts that kind of effort in, and he'll be a superb player for us. He looked the part today. The little turn in the middle for the first goal was really, really good as well. So yeah, I think but I think the conditioning, like we said, I mean, I don't think we're blessed with athletes, but the conditioning for those statistics are crazy. You know, in the first half an hour and the last 15, 9 goals, that is, we scored against 48. Well, good maths there, you guys. It's better than me after a glass of wine. 48 conceded and 9 scored. Honestly, that is awful. It means they're not ready at the start, and they're certainly not fit for the 100 minutes that they need to be nowadays. And I think I think they've stuck with that fitness coach, haven't they? What's his name? Tom? Is it Mitchell? Is it
Tom Little?
Tom Little. They're stuck with him. He'll have an appraisal at the end of the year, and we'll be going.
Get him out.
Were they in tip top condition, Tom? Tell me about this. I'd love to see what that is. But the mentality, the leaders, my God, we are devoid. We've got 3 or 4 in the whole squad, and 2 of them are sat out watching. So, I don't know.
Poor mate. I mean, them stats alone, they are shocking. They are shocking in cold light of day. But it sort of speaks to what we've just said, really, that the mentality of just hold your ground, hold, try and get to half time. It's not working. It's not working at all. We need to at least go. And look, I know there's loads better players. There's probably 18 teams with better players than us in league, if not 19. But we've got to at least have a go, just to have a puncher's chance. Otherwise, you're just going to get knocked out, aren't you? You can't rope-a-dope against much better boxers than. I know it's been a boxing heavy.
I love that. Bit of rope, bit of Muhammad Ali.
You can't keep dodging and weaving because you'll get knocked out. So, yeah, it's. I don't know. So,
just to be the bearer of the doom, like I can be.
Wow.
Liverpool's record in the last 15 minutes of games: 24 scored, 6 conceded. If we don't score, if they don't score in the last 15 minutes,
that's where the money is, isn't it? That's where the money is. It's not a Liverpool win. It's probably 2 goals in the last 15 minutes or something like that to Liverpool. So.
Well, this is it. There was the euphoria of the 4-1. I think that's it's in the bag at 4-1.
Yeah,
it's in the bag. I can
they
feel
don't come back from 4-1, do they? They don't come back from 4-1. We 10 minutes to play, no chance. But 3-2 with 10 minutes to play,
3-1.
I do.
Yeah, it was. I felt for the. I like the fact the fans stuck around as well. I know that I saw a few empty seats at 3-3, and I thought, "What's happened there?" And then it became a bit clearer that most people stuck around and applauded the team because I thought they deserved it. They worked really hard. I don't think they played brilliantly. I thought the 2 lads up front played well, and Arblaster played really well, and Robinson and a few other good performances.
Yeah.
But overall, it wasn't a great team performance. I think the fact we scored a few meant that it sort of overshadowed what was quite a, it was exciting, but it wasn't for me the best we've played. I don't recall many good moves that we made. Other than
I agree. It was disappointing really in general because before the game, when you're talking to people in Triple Point, you're starting to feel the atmosphere. There were a lot of optimism, and it was like because we've been away for so long. All the sort of poor performances had sort of tapered off and gone out of the way. We're coming back again. We're refreshed a little bit, ready to come back to the lane. And I knew that the crowd would be good today because there was so much optimism in the air. We didn't necessarily think we were going to beat Fulham, but we thought we'd give them a good go and the crowd would help. And it was. And let's just hope that don't put a pin in everything because to concede in last minute, 92nd minute, and then have another 12 to play or whatever, but I just think it's just another kick, isn't it? Another kick to what has been a terrible season.
Again, if you leave the blind optimism at the gate, the result is irrespective almost. And I just hope that if there is a possibility that Diaz can get involved next season, that'd be brilliant. I think someone will probably have him if Leeds or someone go up. You can see them coming in with a bid. Or, Ipswich, if they want to spend some of the money, or or whether they want to do a Norwich, their neighbours, and just not invest. But I don't know. But we'll see what they're about if they come up. But no, Diaz would be a fantastic player for us in the Championship next season. It'd be 20 goals plus easy for me. I think he's probably our best finisher.
Yeah,
with Archer. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Him and your lad. Yeah.
Anyway, on that note, I'll let you both go. Have a good time watching Gladiators. Nice to see you, Ronnie. Have a good holiday, and I'll speak to you both soon. All right.
Will do.
See you later. Up the Blades.
Up the Blades, up the Ramble. See you, mate.
Ramble.
Top lads. See you later. Nice one. Good to speak to two of our Ramblers there, Paul and Ronnie. Top lads. Thank you for that. Jump in some more comments. Sarah says BBD needs to stay. Norwood needs to go. Wilder needs to rethink his subs. Tick, tick, tick for me. James Foster, Norwood's legs have gone. Criminal that if we need legs and energy that we didn't bring on Brooks who can run all day. And that's on Wilder, isn't it, as well, to be fair. Sarah agrees with you. Paul says, just on Sheffield United way, that Norwood has become a Jonah this season. As soon as he came on, I said we'd concede, and we did. Asula should have been brought on as well for his physical presence to help the defence with headers. Yeah, maybe he's not known for his heading ability, but at least he's a bit more of a presence, isn't he, like you say, physical presence. VAR killed us today, 14 minutes at least. No VAR next season. Absolutely, at least no VAR next season, that's right. But to be fair, where did that 14 minutes come from? I keep saying that, and my dad mentioned it earlier, they scored in 92nd minute. So there was still 12 minutes for us to turn that around. But obviously, the momentum swung their way. And he's right. When they hold that board up for 14 minutes and they're behind, it does give them an impetus, doesn't it? To, we've got time, we've got a chance to win this. So I'm kind of talking myself out of my own point there. Vinny's shocking. He must be a shoo-in for the next Brazil team then. It was shocking. Every single time Noel comes on to see a game out, we end up throwing points away. Far too slow. Why didn't Brooks Slimani come on? Was Slimani on bench today? And the referee was awful. Hamer got strangled and no red. Yeah, I've seen that. There's stills of, is it Calvin Bassey with his hands round Hamer's neck? Nothing. Baldock played 11 and a half a game. Bogle's played 25 games. Best ability is availability. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, Baldock's not been available, has he? Sousa spent most of the game talking to Fulham's two Brazilians. He must know him from national team. Absolutely right. And you'd think that Sousa would be able to pocket Pereira, seeing as they were with each other all week for Brazil. Yeah, I agree. Grbic clearly not better than Wes. Doesn't come for crosses and invites pressure on the defence, is he? And I think that's a bit harsh on Grbic today. I think on previous performances, that's fair. But I don't think he did much wrong today. Sousa went down with cramp after 65 minutes. All he'd done was point for 65 minutes. He has to go. I completely agree. Completely agree. Just play 75 or 80 minutes. Fitness has been a problem all season, says Jeff. Yeah, it has. Wilder keeps saying he's been forced to make physical substitutions, not tactical ones. Why? Our physios and medical staff have to take the blame for this. And fitness team in general, really. Evening, Jimmy. Last two games, 4 points lost. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Cheers, Keith. Appreciate that. Just to go back to your point, Paul, that is just Wilder's take on it as well, in terms of that's what Wilder's saying to us. So if it's not the physicality, which I think it is, if it's not the fitness levels, which I think it is, then he's doing him a disservice, isn't he? We've got to take Wilder's word for that. That is what's causing the issues. Ian says, love Wilder, but his excuse for having to make physical substitutions is wearing a bit thin. Surely him and his team have been long enough to have improved the fitness if it was an issue before. Maybe so. Maybe so. I think Ben Diaz could play with anyone up front, always looking to run behind the fence. Wouldn't mind seeing him with Archer in a 2, to be honest. I think if Archer came on as an impact sub today, it would have been end of the game, I assume you mean. I agree. I think Cameron Archer and Diaz's mouth watering. But I can't say McBurnie didn't deserve his flowers today, because I thought he did really well. And, you you've got to call it as you see it, and I thought McBurnie played well today. Hi, Jimmy, says Michael. Bad substitutions cost us again. Does Chris know what he's doing? Up the blades, up the ramble? Yeah, of course he does. Of course he knows what he's doing. I think he's working with somebody else's squad at the minute, if I'm honest. Give him summer. Judge him then when he's had a chance to bed in some new signings, because there's going to be a complete turnaround in summer, isn't there? Totally agree with everything Andy the Blade said. Oh, because he'll read that and he'll love it. It was VAR decisions that made the 14 minutes disgusting. Up the blades, up the ramble, top man. Which is the biggest Easter miracle? Jesus rising from the dead or Andy the Blade praising McBurnie? I can't call it. I can't call that. That is too tight to call. Sousa's a massive letdown, flapping his arms around, yet not tracking runners to string a few simple passes together. Absolutely. Embarrassing how we can't even pass out from the back and hold the ball in the opposition half rather than playing on the counter every single game. The Blades are staying up, Jimmy, unbeaten in 2, says Paul. Roy says, Andy, I was shouting for McBurnie to come off after 20 minutes. Well, my dad's normally one that's doing that, to be fair. And like my dad was saying, first half, it were much of a muchness. It weren't really. It were when they switched. And I think this will have been a Wilder call. So as much as we're calling him for subs, he made the tactical tweak to push Brereton Diaz further up and McBurnie just off where he could win the headers, link the play, where they did really well. They've formed quite the partnership already. I really like them together. I have to say that, even though I'm a huge Archer fan. And it was second half that impressed us more than anything. I don't think Wilder's subs was the problem. I think it's the lack of quality on the bench, and that's a fair point as well. 3-1 up with 5 minutes to go. Norwood, hold my beer. Oh, goodness me. All in all, a point gained in the league. 7 points behind now and a game in hand. Not a bad... I love that, Ricky. That's how we should be. We want to get to that sort of mindset, don't we? That's where we want to be. Wayne, good evening, pal. Up the blades, up the ramble. Love hearing Andy the Blade talking sense. Haven't seen the game yet as I've been working. Yeah, just... It's one of them. Another roller coaster Blades ride. Ian says, Wilder apparently said in his presser that Anel needs to just concentrate on his own game, or words to that effect. Right, I haven't seen that. I'll have to watch that back. Morgan, good evening, pal. Very interested in telling Wilder named how long both players are out for. He's livid. Yeah, I'm sure he is. I would be and all. 2 big players for us. Baldock more so, even though I thought Bogle played well today. And Tom Davies would have been the shout, wouldn't he, instead of Norwood to come on. Don't let Norwood touch the ball. I know. He's bad enough when we're out of possession, though, isn't he? I watched the game, says Mike, and from the moment that fourth got disallowed, you could see this result coming. Yeah, Sportsman Blade, our defenders were caught flat-footed too often today. I don't understand why we can't get tight on crosses and anticipate. Seems we're just ball watching sometimes. Norwood and Tyson, according to Jimmy's logic. I don't know about that. I know you're on about my boxing analogy, but where boxers go on too long and tarnish their legacy, but Tyson would be. He's not quite Mike Tyson. Norwood should go every time he comes on. He's slow and gets booked for doing something. Booked for dissent or something up the ramble. Sousa is dating some Love Island chick who has dated many footballers. Okay, right. Shocking, Jimmy. Disallow a goal that would have been given to the top 6, 40 minutes added on, corrupt. There was nothing wrong with that goal. I couldn't see it anyway. I haven't seen it with commentary where they're breaking it down and explaining it. I've only seen a couple of replays on X. So I will look at it properly, but I couldn't see anything wrong with it. It's just one of them, isn't it? Disgraceful. Fulham's second goal. Norwood got walked through, having been on the pitch for 30 seconds. Shocking. John Egan's a huge miss, and it doesn't get mentioned enough. Well said, Jack. Absolutely right. It don't get mentioned enough. David Webster, good evening, pal. Chairman of the Chris Wilder fan club. Let's see what he has to say today. Appalling recruitment, terrible substitutions. Clueless Chris has to go. Get Mark Robbins in. Mark Robbins is a great manager, and it's a great shout for a replacement if that's the route we're going down. I don't think we will, and I don't think we should. Appalling recruitment. Ben Brereton Diaz is a Wilder signing. Scored 2 today. I don't think he's had enough time to say his recruitment's been bad. Like I was saying, Fulham had subs on the pitch 24/7 running up and down. Egan's a terrible defender, says David Webster. And he's not a terrible defender. He started the season off really poorly and then got injured. But I still think he's got something to offer. 4-1 the game's won. And then VAR says no more, says action location. Absolutely. Charlie D, good evening. Hi, Jimmy. What do you think of our new the new ball boy rule and how it may affect the game? Rubbish. I think it's rubbish. The new ball boy rule, for those that aren't aware, the ball boys can no longer throw the balls back to the players because it were happening where home ball boys were just throwing it to home team and then taking their time giving it back to away team. I understand why they've done it. Now they just have to put them on the cones and the players have to pick them up from the cones. I understand why they've done it, but I think it's another element of the game that I think it adds character to the game and it adds to the atmosphere. And yeah, it annoys you when it's going against you, but you laugh when it's going for you. It's another advantage, a very minuscule advantage when you're at home. Don't like it. Leave the game alone. Leave the game alone. VAR. My dad called today for VAR not being used actively in games. And each side has 2 calls that they get to question. They get to go to VAR, whether it's a sending off or a bad tackle that has got a yellow, anything like that, they get 2 VAR challenges. Can we see that again on VAR? I want you to look at that and go to the screen and have a look and see if your decision's different. Why can't we do that? Why can't we do that? Why do they have to get involved in certain decisions and not others? Absolutely ridiculous. Actual location. Cooper's back playing for Plymouth. Get him in. Love Michael Cooper. I think he's actually a better keeper than Johansson. Johansson looks like he's going to be the one that's available for cheaper, and he's still a very good keeper, so I'd get Johansson in if we can't get Cooper. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Love your content. Great meeting you today. We're one big Blades family. Once a Blade, always a Blade. Thank you, Rob. Very much appreciate it, pal. Nice to talk to you earlier. It was an improvement from Arsenal. It certainly was, Sam, but couldn't get much worse than that, could it? Got replay on TV. See no offside from my eyes, says Cam. Is that Cam all the way from Oz? Good morning. G'day. How's it going, Cobber? I can't think of anything else to say in Australian, so please don't be offended. I like Wilder and what he's done, but we need a new era for our club, says Logan. Okay. Bill, good evening, pal. Stopped at services on my drive home. Would have taken a point before kickoff, but gutting way to end a game. Positive shoots under Wilder going forward, but defence is atrocious. Still lots of work. Absolutely right. To do over the summer. Up the Blades. Up the Ramble. Keep the faith. You're right. I think the defence was okay today, but they can do okay and still make you proud in terms of how they're defending and still not be good enough. All of the above can be okay. You can think that Jack Robinson is brilliant for throwing his body on the line and, you know, pounding his chest. All that can still be true. He can play as well as he can, and he still may not be good enough. That can all be true. All be true. I'm glad McBurnie's proving you wrong, Jim. I have to get him signed up. I won't go that far, Middledale. I won't go that far. Because they are way too few and far between those performances. So we can't get carried away with 45 minutes of very strong play, or even 35 because he got taken off, didn't he? But can only prove me wrong further, can't he? Did really well today. Second half, can't say any other. Danny says, if Blackburn gets relegated, I'd go all out to get Schmodix with that return, with the return of the Cam Archer money. The Cam Archer money coming back in is accounted for, and there's still a deficit, so it's not really going to be, right, we'll get that lump of cash and we'll go spend it. And Schmodix will be wanted higher up, I would think. If Blackburn go down, I don't think Blackburn will go down. I think they'll have a bit too much. And with that in mind, I think he'll probably go to the Prem. But could be wrong. Good player. Is it just a bit of a purple patch of a season, though? He's not really done it before. So we've made that mistake previously, haven't we? How can Wilder make any sensible subs when all the subs on the bench are League One at best? Great point. Great point. We are very weak. But you can't convince me that Andre Brooks isn't a better sub to bring on than Ollie Norwood at this stage. I wouldn't believe it. Agree with Ian Hibbert. Garbage is like Dracula, hates crosses. Got to go for me. Typical Prem referee. I'm just trying to catch up on some comments because I'm still way behind. So apologies if you're waiting. I'm excited for the next season with the right recruitment, and Wilder is the man. Not his fault. Squad depth isn't good enough to bring on good players. We're bringing on poor players like McAtee, and no, McAtee's not a poor player, is he? Let's be right. Sick of McAtee, offers us nothing. I just don't think he was the right player for the game today, but you can't say he offers us nothing. Why have Paul and Ronnie still got a Christmas tree? Ultra Orthodox Jesus. No, it weren't a Christmas tree. I think it were fairy lights, but I'll let them answer if they want. Poor substitutions, lazy thinking, Wilder. I get Worrell in as well, Jimmy. Need to shore up the defence, need to shrink on 50k a week to get into them players' heads. Find out what's going on. Fulham keeper not sent off. VAR corrupt as always. Yeah, I heard he should have been sent off. I don't know whether that's the case. Obviously, we didn't get to see the replays in the ground. Joe Worrell would be great. Agree with the caller who said Sousa wasn't good enough. He's spot on. And Danny says, that's me, Sam. Well, you were spot on. I'll tell the Christmas tree. Oh, I don't think... Was there a Christmas tree? I'm not sure. Sousa's rubbish. He's going to get worse now. He's dating that Arabella. I'm not bothered about who he's dating, to be fair. Curtis was on the bench today. Would have liked to have seen him come on. I would too, Ricky. But as I say, I thought Bogle played okay today. So there were no real need to bring Curtis on. To be fair, it was suggested that we could maybe push Bogle into midfield and bring Curtis on when you take Sousa off or something like that. That would have been okay. I wouldn't have minded seeing that. Sam, good evening, Jimmy. I have to say that Norwood sub rattled me. He was at fault for their second, missed the tackle in a sliding challenge. Poor sub for me. Absolutely right, Sam. And Ricky says we're missing Egan at the back. Absolutely. Blade X says BBD is a monster, true quality. He's playing really well into it at the moment. He's the only spark that we've got at the moment. Please never let Norwood near the pitch again. He's an omen of doom. Wilder's like Southgate. He has a weird fascination with the midfield who's way past their prime. Norwood out. Judge Wilder when? I think you've got to judge Wilder after the summer, personally, when he's managed to get his own, not only his own teaming of players, but he's built his own backroom team as well and changed the club. He said confidently in his presser pre-match that he's never been more confident and more sure of what this club needs to get itself back on track. And that, for me, is reassuring. I know some people don't necessarily think he's the right man to do it, but I don't think there's anybody better, in all honesty. Not a dig at you and your targets, but Diaz seems to fit our way of football and Wilder ball than Archer. Maybe Diaz over Cameron in the summer if targets are there. I can't disagree that Diaz is proving to be a very good signing. I stand by my earlier comment that when we were changing our formation for Diaz, it wasn't working for us as a club. Now we've switched it and Diaz is fitting in with our style of play. Absolutely right. Cam Archer hasn't really got the run or the support, I don't think, in terms of getting a decent run in the side. I'd love to see Diaz and Archer together at some point. But how can you drop McBurnie after a second half performance like that? So maybe it's Archer, the impact sub, to come on. We need to keep Hamer. First half was Blair. Yeah, absolutely. It's my fault we drew today, Jimmy, says Mark. I said we're staying up with 4 minutes to go, winning 3-1. Well, you've done it then, haven't you? I was there. Fulham had 3 subs on the pitch constantly. All right. Don't know how that came about. Vinny was apparently came from an offside position and got involved in the play. That's how it was explained. Don't agree. Shan's left a comment that I'm not going to highlight. Louise, good to see you today. And you. Thank you for coming up and saying hello. Thought we got robbed up the Ramble, up the Blades. Got a couple of callers to finish off tonight. So we're going to start with Chris. Good evening, pal.
Well, can you hear me, Jimmy?
I can hear you, mate. I can hear you. Thank you for waiting. How are you, mate?
I'm hungry. I've got pizza on the way, so yeah.
All right.
I'm hungry.
Fair dues.
You probably mean about the game. No, yeah, you mean about the game.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
I don't know. Not great.
I know. It's one of them, isn't it, that
you take it before the game.
You'd take it before, wouldn't you? I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
It's weird because we need as many wins as we can, and we're not going to get them. We're not going to get the wins we need to survive. But you can't write us off until it's done, in my opinion. But a point would have been seen as a good result from the game. It just feels like such a kicker because of how it happened. So don't know, mate. I don't know. What do you think about McBurnie today? Would you offer him a contract based on today's performance, or would you have given him one anyway prior?
I don't want to look like reactionary. Like, I would have given him one anyway, to be honest. But like, I was loving it today. When he set up the first goal outside of his foot, like, I thought that was just class. I don't like that he's not lasting a full game, though. That's the problem. If he was able to do that, and if he was able to stay fit, like, there wouldn't even be questions. Like, he'd have to stay. But he's not giving you. He's only giving you half a season. Like, so it depends on whether or not we can afford to pay for half a season's worth of a player. Like,
well, that's the thing, isn't it? I think he's the one that we were talking about potentially looking at more of an appearance-based contract, because if he's not available, like you say, if he's only available 50% of the games, and let's be right, some of the games that he's been available for or come on for, he's not looked fit either. So is he match fit and ready to go whenever he's available? I'm not sure. But today he looked fit and firing, and you know, he played for 80 minutes, looked really good. 85 minutes, I think it was, something like that, but looked really good second half. And that partnership with Diaz is blossoming all the time. So I think it's positive. And I think, you know, there's certainly potential there. If there's a chance we can get Diaz back, then I'd maybe look to keep him as a partnership. But it's a big if for me.
I think we're going to look back on this season with a bit of regret. Obviously, not particularly because we're bad, but because I don't think you're going to find a season where it's much easier to stay up. Like, I
agree. It's going to be such a missed opportunity because someone's going to stay up with 30 points, aren't they? Yeah. And you think
we should only be like 3 or 4 points off, even though we've lost games 8-0. That's the weird bit.
We keep getting these chances thrown at us to do that. Like, people have been saying, if we'd have kept the Bournemouth lead and we'd have kept today's lead, that's another 4 points on, and we're something like 2 points or 3 points adrift then. And it's doable when we've still got Forest and Everton to play and Burnley to play. It's unreal how close we can be after the terrible season we've had. So it makes me loath to write us off again, to be honest. And we'll, you know, maybe that's being ridiculous, but I don't know. We need more than ever an unexpected result now. We need something like a point at Anfield, or even a win against Chelsea at home, which is just so unlikely. It's untrue, but I don't know. Burnley got a point at Stamford Bridge today with 10 men for 60 minutes or something, didn't they? So it's not impossible. Not impossible. So anything else you want to... Oh, you've muted yourself, Chris.
No, I just had to get a pizza.
All right. Mate, I'll leave you to your pizza because I've got one more call to take and then we're going to get off.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you for your call, pal. Yeah, top man. Speak to you soon. Cheers, buddy. Last caller of the night, and then I'll finish off with some comments. Ollie, how's it going, pal?
All right, thank you, Jimmy. How's it going for you?
I were all right at 3 o'clock. I were all right at 4 o'clock, but yeah, not great, mate. Not great. It's a kicker, that, isn't it? A real kicker.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna put it out there. I said to my mum and my granddad, I said, I'm going to count how many minutes it takes until we concede. After Norwood came on, it took 20 seconds. He's
I would do the same. When you're down on a player and then they just continue to disappoint, it makes it even more frustrating, doesn't it? I said to my dad today, I'm going to watch Vinny Souza and watch what he does now. This was in first half. And he lost his man time and time again. He were pointing at other players where they should be running. There were no positional awareness, and it were driving me crazy. So it just compounds that feeling you've got of frustration, doesn't it? And you'll have watched Ollie Norwood. I'm going to count how long it takes us to concede, and 20 seconds in, it's like, are you kidding? Are you kidding me here? What's going on? So, and then when there's only a goal in it and they get 14 minutes thrown up on board, you just know what's going to happen, don't you?
Yeah, well, I not many people have talked about it. I'd have rather had Slimani on. He were on bench today.
Was Slimani on bench?
He was.
Right, he must not have been fit enough to come on then, surely, because surely he'd have made an appearance if he'd have been fit. I don't know. I don't know
Wilder anymore. I do not know.
Oh, are we a little bit anti-Wilder?
I have been. Have you? Since he came back, I've always backed Heckingbottom, and I still do. he were never the problem for me.
Right. What is the problem?
Have you got enough time?
No, we haven't, mate. We're running out of time, but
there's a lot.
Give us right. Let's end on a positive. Talk to me about Ollie Arblaster.
Brilliant, future captain, and he's magical.
He's great, isn't he? He's great. He's everything. He's everything we want a Blades player to be for me.
Yeah. Well, I want to say one thing about the captain today, and I was celebrating because Anel wasn't the captain when it came up on big screen that Robbo were leading us out, and I think that made a big change today.
I think Anel played better for it as well, to be honest.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And Robbo, his usual self, Mr. Fantastic.
I know what you mean. Yeah, no. Listen, I won't push back on anybody that wants to praise Jack Robinson because I still don't rate him as a very good defender. But you can't doubt his spirit and his fight for the team, and that is something that we repeatedly ask for. So if you're not good enough, that's okay, as long as you're giving everything you can, and he does do that. So that is never something I'll ever go at him for, because he never just phones it in and gives 80%. He is always there and throwing himself in front of stuff and whatever. So I don't mind him being captain. I wouldn't like him to be the captain going forward, but I think, he's played as well as any defender we've had this season. So fair play to Robbo. Yeah. And like you say, hopefully soon Arblaster will be wearing the armband in the next 2-3 years. Maybe we shall see. Yeah. So
one final thing. I keep saying this. Every time we get a point, 3 points, Burnley seem to match us. I don't know what's happening there.
How have they got a point at Chelsea today with 10 men? Unbelievable.
If they can get a point, surely we can get 3.
Oh, love that. Just to finish above Burnley. That's got to be the aim, hasn't it? That's got to be the aim. And it's doable as well.
It is. Yeah.
Right. Top man, Ollie. Thank you for calling, pal, and I'll speak to you soon.
All right. Yeah. Cheers. Up the Ramble.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, pal. See you soon. Nice one. Right, we'll finish off with some comments. And I think I'll have got through everybody's comments then for the night. So we'll have done well. We'll have done well today. Only thing that worries me with Wilder, says Tom, is that we can trust him with what little money we'll have to spend. I think he's better on a budget, to be honest. I think he spends it wisely when he knows he hasn't got a lot to spend. I think he sometimes panics thinking he has to spend the huge money when we get a Brewster or a McBurnie in, and it doesn't always work out. What happened with the Fulham keeper just before the corner? So some sort of, I don't know if it was before the corner. I think it was when the goal went in, our third goal, and it looked like there was some sort of scuffle. Should have been a red, apparently, but I hadn't seen it back. Ralph, good evening. Just saw a little note on McBurnie on Sky today. Talked about his younger brother having chemo, and it's hard for him. He also shaving his head because his brother's losing his hair. Absolutely right. He's got Hodgkin's lymphoma, which we talked about a little bit earlier. I don't know if he's got more than one brother. I know he's got a brother that plays in non-league called Xander. So I don't want to say best, all the best to Xander if it's another member of his family. But McBurnie, fair play to you, pal. And I thought he played really well today, as I say, particularly second half. Rob says, as long as the fan base sings from the same page, this club will be one of the best supported teams in the league, which makes a massive difference. Absolutely right. I thought we did well today as a crowd. Normally it can be quiet at Bramall Lane, but I thought we did okay. It always helps to score a few goals as well, doesn't it? Sousa's the new James Harper. Absolutely great comparison. Pointing everywhere, directing traffic while the opposition run into the spaces he leaves behind. Exactly right. Just interested, Jimmy, how many goals have we scored from set pieces this season? No idea off the top of my head, pal. No idea, but I'm sure somebody will be able to tell us. I think a set piece coach may improve our look in front of goal. I think I put that in our 5 things we need to do to improve Sheffield United, a set piece coach. Because it sounds a bit fancy, Dan, but the small margins that you can win by having quality set pieces and being able to defend set pieces is huge, absolutely huge. So yeah, I'm all for that, Danny. Ricky says we're staying up the Blades, up the Ramble, and Wayne finishes us off tonight by saying up the Blades, up the Ramble. Well, we didn't lose. No, we didn't. We didn't lose today. Feels like it, but we didn't. Just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. It's not quite the upbeat feel that I was trying to go for, because sometimes we can really turn our mood around by doing these things. But Look, we'll be back. We'll dust ourselves off. We'll get ready for Liverpool. The thing is, I always seem to think that we raise our levels when we go to bigger, better clubs. I hate saying it, stuff like that, but they are a bigger club, no doubt about it. Going for the title in loads better form with better players, they will be a formidable test. We don't expect anything. So even if we put up a great performance, I think a lot of us will be pleased. So not a free hit. There's no such thing as a free hit, but let's just enjoy it and hopefully we're putting a decent performance against Liverpool. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the